Day, and I think we have a really nice service. We're having technical challenges, which is I'm speaking into this mic, but you're not hearing it through the speakers. So I hope you can hear me. I'm going to try to speak clearly and loudly this morning. And people that are on Zoom can hear, and that's why we're still using the mic. I have our announcements this morning. So the first one is about small groups being an excellent way to deepen our spiritual exploration and to care for one another. Are there any small groups that you would like to lead, or perhaps that you're interested in joining? Please share your ideas for any fall groups, and you can email me at president@nuc.ca. The Lifespan Learning Committee is looking for new members. 2 of our former members have moved away. You don't need any particular experience, just the ability to attend 1 meeting per month, which are currently on Zoom, and to help occasionally with the Sunday Children's Program. You are warmly welcomed. Please contact Nisha Catherine, and her email will be in the announcements going out tomorrow. We have a calendar of summer events. If you can check your email, those went out this week. These events include many outdoor events like walk and rolls. Anyone that did those last year, we're having those again. Labyrinth walks. There will be family meetups and outdoor drum circle, outdoor song circle, a family movie night, congregational picnic in September as well. So we hope to see you there. Share your ideas and help to shape next year's guest speaker lineup by becoming a member of the Sunday Service Coordination Team. We have a few members already, including Moira, Peter, and Suzanne, and we're looking for more. We'll start by envisioning our Sunday services for September and October, and you can contact Peter at his email that will be included in the announcements tomorrow. There will be a workshop on Wednesday, June the 22nd, on embodying the 8th principle, and this workshop is our first, and it will be about learning to be aware of our own privilege and bias. It's offering activities that will help us become more self-aware and create a community space for sharing and learning from each other. All members are welcome and encouraged to attend, and Bruce Lyon's email and Suzanne Mazar's email are the way to find out more information. And we have an interim minister search update. Unfortunately, Neighborhood did not get a match in the second round for an interim minister. The board has decided to operate under a mosaic approach to meeting our ministry needs and to expand our search for a contract minister. All interested applicants will have until September the 6th to apply. The Ministerial Leadership Search Committee will be meeting again today after service here in our sanctuary, and all members of the congregation are welcome to attend to find out more. We have a communications committee that asks, are you social media savvy? Our vice president is looking for someone to manage our social media messaging. So please join the communications team to help get the word out about who we are. And you can contact Michelle Lalonde for more information. The C Committee, in conjunction with the Danforth Multi-Faith Commons, is hosting a Kairos blanket exercise here in this sanctuary for the 3 congregations to learn more about the history of Indigenous peoples in Canada as a step towards reconciliation. You can contact Laura Thomas for more information or to register, and her email is in the announcements as well. So many announcements. Okay. Next Saturday is a celebration of life for Bruce Brackett. And you do need to RSVP, as there will be a lunch provided. And it starts at noon at the Legion at Pape, 1083 Pape at O'Connor. And there's a RSVP to Bruce's daughter, and her email will be in the announcements as well. We'll see how this goes. There's supposed to be a movie night tonight here, but we'll need to be able to project and hear the sound. So that's, the movie is on the singing revolution, a film about how choral singing helped to restore independence to the Baltic nations from the Soviet Union. And that's supposed to start at 7:30 this evening. This week, there will be breakout rooms on Zoom, and for our conversation afterwards, the question being asked are, what have you lost? What are you trying to get back? Ponder this topic. We hope that you will be willing to share your reflections when the time comes. And finally, next Sunday, our theme is Pride. Our service weaver is Deb Bertazon. The message of inspiration will be given by Reverend Daniel Weber, and music will be by our own Spirit Choir. At this time, for our prelude, I'd like to invite Kim Knutson to come forward and lead us in the welcoming song.
Ani bojo zawa waibiankwe nadishnakaska gagapshindoram. My English name is Kim, and my spirit name is Yellow Blanket Woman, and I'm Bear Clan. This song is a Mi'kmaq song from Nova Scotia. The elder that brought it to our circle is Maggie Paul, and it welcomes the people, the spirits, and the land that's here. Neighborhood is familiar with it. Some folks know it, some folks don't, but that's okay. You'll catch on. Go ahead. Oh, sorry. So the first line, if you want to join in, because we don't have the lyrics up, it's Hey Guando Day, Hey Guando Day, Ah Hey Guando Day, Ah Hey Guando Day. I'm not used to saying it. Wait. Hey Guando Day, Hey Guando Day, Youngio way. Youngio way. Ah hey Guando Day. That's the song. Okay? I can't read it like in English because it's an oral song and it doesn't go into my brain, so that's why it comes out jumbled. Come on up. Hey Guando.
Thank you, Kim. Good morning. We welcome you to Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Congregation service. Thank you for joining us here, both in our sanctuary and at home on Zoom. My name is Allison Kabayama. I'm your service weaver this morning from our beautiful sanctuary at Neighborhood at 310 Danforth. The service is being recorded for both the public on YouTube and for our website. Joys and concerns will be edited out. If you're here in the sanctuary, you don't have to worry about being seen on the camera, I guess. I don't think so. Well, maybe you are, and so you should stay in the middle back if you really don't want to risk being seen by the others online that are joining us from their homes. If you're on Zoom and you have privacy concerns, you can turn your camera off. You can rename yourself. I say this, but I hope you won't, because part of being in spiritual community is to take the risk of being seen and known, to participate with others to build authentic spiritual community. So we hope that that is what you will do. Now, we have nowhere else to go and nothing else to do. Let us bring our hearts, minds, and spirits together as one, as we give greeting and gratitude for being with each other. This is our threshold moment. Let us enter sacred space together. Our service begins now. I wonder if I could ask Kyra to come forward and light our chalice.
Can he help?
Yes.
You want to hold the match?
Yeah, I want to hold the match.
Okay, let me light the match, okay?
We light this chalice to remember, to light the fire within our own hearts. I start by acknowledging that we are on the traditional land and territories of the Wendat, the Anishinaabe, the Mississauga, and the Haudenosaunee nations. Indigenous peoples have been acknowledging the land at the start of gatherings, ceremonies, and events for time immemorial. Using and participating in a land acknowledgement is a way to recognize the enduring presence and resilience of Indigenous peoples. It is also a reminder that we are all accountable to these relationships. Welcome. Our minister till the end of this month is still our Reverend Wayne Walder, though he is on sabbatical. Our music director is Suzanne Mazars, and Zee Getchell facilitates our child and caregiver program. Today we have a guest speaker, Nauluq LeDrew, and music is being provided by our own Kim Knutson. We also have Mike Kosowski, who's doing the Zoom web hosting duties, and Reece Rogers, who's managing our camera and sound desk. Thank you to all of them. By now, we all know Zoom etiquette. If you have a technical question online, please send a direct chat message to Mike. We have a wiggle room off to the side of the sanctuary, which families with small children are welcome to use as they feel comfortable. It's not a requirement. And if you're having trouble hearing, I don't think it will work today, but we do have assisted hearing devices that are normally very useful if you have hearing difficulties. We are open to many beliefs and learn from many traditions. We welcome all people to our religious community. If you're visiting us for the first time, a special welcome, and we encourage you to stay after service. Our minister staff can answer any questions you have about who we are and what we do. Our services can vary from week to week, so we encourage you to sample several to get a better feel for who we are. Our mission at Neighborhood is to empower spiritual growth and shared action for the care of the world. The theme today is what was taken away from us and what we are getting back. Our theme for June is Aboriginal History Month. As I reflected on our topic for today and the fact that our guest speaker, Nauluq LeDrew, is an Inuit elder, I cast my thoughts back to my impressions of Inuit culture and realized I know next to nothing. My earliest recollection was when I was a very small child and the term Eskimo was used. There was that Christmas song, which I found beautiful and uplifting to sing, even while I felt I knew that the term we were singing was incorrect. Then when I became a mother to my own small child, my son Tayo was given a book from his young friend Kiwi, whose father was a gifted sculptor named Manassi. This book was co-authored by a Unitarian, Robert Munch, and Michael Kosowski, and it's called A Promise is a Promise. The book centers around a little girl and her family and the Inuit legend of the Kalupuluit, troll-like creatures that live below the surface of the sea. It seemed to me a universal warning that parents give to their children to not go by the sea by themselves and to keep them safely away from the water's edge. Other ways I gleaned information was from films, but mostly Western or Hollywood movies, which were about as truthful and accurate as you might imagine. It wasn't until the early 2000s when I saw Atanar Juat, The Fast Runner, which was the first feature film to be written, directed, and acted in the Nuktutuk language. And then a couple of years ago, I was very fortunate to attend a spirit singers workshop offered through the U of T by Reece Rogers, an Inuit elder from Iqaluit, Nunavut, and Toronto, who shared first-hand information and her history growing up, as well as teaching us about throat singing. What I do remember, though, was as a child and visiting and being in Oka, where my family had lived for a few years in the 1950s. My mother, Joan Kabayama, was white and married to a Jap, so that was probably indication enough that she was not infected with any ill-informed notion of superiority based on ethnicity. My mother always was, in fact, well ahead of her time. She wrote her master's thesis in education on the maleducation of Indigenous populations. Our family developed deep bonds with many families there, and we would visit frequently, especially in the summer when the roads were safer because they were hilly and challenging near Oka. Whatever was happening, the other children would welcome me, and there was an ease and calm in those unhurried days on the reserve. Lake of Two Mountains was especially beautiful and tempting, even overcoming my fear of the weeds and leeches. I always felt I belonged just as I was. Such a shame that all people do not feel this way. So I feel deeply, but I know little. I read words by Robin Wall Kimmerer in her book, Braiding Sweetgrass, Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teachings of Plants. She writes, children, language, lands, almost everything was stripped away, stolen when you weren't looking because you were trying to stay alive. In the face of such loss, one thing our people could not surrender was the meaning of the land. In the settler mind, land was property, real estate, capital, or natural resources. But to our people, it was everything. Identity, the connection to our ancestors, the home of our non-human kinfolk, our pharmacy, our library, the source of all that sustained us. Our lands were where our responsibility to the world was enacted, sacred ground. It belonged to itself. It was not a gift and not a commodity. Now it's time to greet your neighbors. We can take an attitude of consent, and after you've greeted a few neighbors, there is a camera, so we can still wave to our neighbors joining us online. And for those on Zoom, you can unmute your device and switch to gallery view and offer a greeting to those around you and then to people in the sanctuary, and we'll sound a chime to end. Please take a moment now.
Hi, everyone.
That's too easy. Good
Hi,
morning.
Reece, and hi,
Nice to see
Juliana. Hi, Susie, or Susan.
Hi, Susan.
I heard,
Hi,
Susan, I
Deb.
heard you were up at Mermaid Inn. Yeah.
I saw pictures. That place is gorgeous.
Yeah. Hi, Sigrid. Yes.
Hi, nice to see you.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, Bill and Brenda.
And hi, Reece and Bill.
Good morning, Mike.
Bill and Brenda, you're there?
Yeah.
Hi, Bill and Brenda.
Mike, Susan W. And it's small, not too many on Zoom today. I guess they're crowded.
It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day to be outside, I gotta say.
Yeah, we're up near Perry Sound.
Oh, nice.
At our trailer, yeah. Well, mine and Dina's trailer, but Suzanne's here a lot too, so.
There you go. No, I'm in Fenland Falls. The last 2 days, there were white caps and
we can continue over coffee.
Flipped.
Thank you. Now, I invite you to speak our opening words, which will appear on the screen for folks on Zoom. Let us cast the circle of a sacred space here. Let us cast the circle of a cherished space here, a space of safety, a place of forgiveness, a place of love. If we want the world to change, we must craft in our space and in ourselves the seeds that grow a different kind of life, a life of graciousness, of creative intelligence, a place of life and spirit for ourselves and our families. So we have our first song. I'd like to invite Kim to join us.
This song is the Cherokee Morning Song. It's a Rita Coolidge song, actually, and her family formed, she's part Cherokee, and she sung, this is, I don't know how to pronounce the name of her group in the language, because I don't know Cherokee, but I just wanted to say that. So the song is Windeyaho. So it's Windeyaho, Windeyaho, Windeya, Windeya, ho, 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 hey-a-ho, 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 ya, 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 ya. So I'm challenged with rounds, and I asked my friends from choir to lead rounds. So Allison's going to start, and Kyra's going to take one half of the side, and Allison will choose one, and I'll blend in.
Should we sing it once through all together?
Yep. Windeyaho, Windeyaho. Windaya, Windaya.
Thank you, Allison. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to invite all of the young and young at heart to come and gather on the carpet because it's time for our Time for All Ages. I want to start our Time for All Ages by thanking our guest speaker, Nauluq LeDrew, for coming to talk to us today about Inuit spirituality. Thank you for joining us. In case you didn't know, Inuit is the name for the indigenous people who live in the Arctic. Those folks who have lived in the northern territories of Canada, Alaska, and even Greenland since before those places had those names. Now, my knowledge and understanding of Inuit spirituality is admittedly lacking. And so I went looking for stories, like I always do. And I found a video of the Inuit creation story that I was planning to share with you all today. Unfortunately, that's not going to be possible, and so I'm going to just do my best to tell you the story myself. So the story started a long time ago before people were around, when the raven made the earth and the waters within it. The raven also made little pea pod plants on the ground, and one day, from those pea pod plants hatched a fully grown man. Now this fully grown man felt something strange in his stomach, something unpleasant. So he leaned down and scooped some water up, and it made him feel better. And eventually, when the raven was flying by, the raven saw the man and came down. And one thing you need to know about the raven is the raven had a bird form, but the raven could also lift his beak as though it were a mask, and then had a form kind of like that of a human. I know. I don't know how. And the raven came down and took up his beak like a mask and spoke to the man, who the raven realized looked a lot like him. And the man told the raven that he was hungry. So the raven said, "Okay, I will find you some food." And the raven went off. And the man stayed where he was for 4 days until the raven came back with 2 salmon berries and 2 heath berries. And he gave them to the man and said, "I have made these for you for food, and they will grow all over the world." And the man ate the berries, and they satisfied some of his hunger, but he was still hungry. So the raven started to shape other animals from clay, and he would flap his wings over the animals and bring them to life. Some, like the mountain sheep, he hid up in the highs of the mountains. Some, like the fish, he hid in the seas, and some, like the birds, he hid in the air, so that man would be able to eat them, but not be able to kill them all. And life lived that way on the earth for a while, until the raven started to notice that the man seemed to be feeling lonely. So the raven went off into a corner of the earth where he could not be seen. And there the raven shaped another form, kind of like man, but softer. And when the raven waved his wings over that form and brought it to life, the raven brought her back to man and said, "This is woman. She will be your helper and your companion." And then man and woman had children and populated the earth with that. And the raven watched for many years until the earth was filled with all different kinds of life. And that's the Inuit creation story. So shall we go now to our program? Okay, let's go.
This is a unique time in our service when you are invited to share a joy or concern in your life. I'm going to light one more final candle for all the joys and concerns that remain in our hearts although unspoken. Now it's time for meditation or prayer. This is the mountain meditation. So find a way to sit comfortably in your chair, maybe with a straight back and your head resting erect on your neck and shoulders. Allow your shoulders to fully relax and rest your hands on your knees. Close your eyes. Bring your attention to the flow of your breathing. Feel each in breath and each out breath. Just observe your breathing without trying to change it or regulate it in any way. Allow the body to be still with a sense of dignity, a sense of resolve, a sense of being complete. In this very moment, reflecting this sense of wholeness. Picture in your mind's eye, as best as you can, the most beautiful mountain that you know or have seen or can imagine. Just hold the image and feeling of this mountain in your mind's eye, letting it gradually come into greater focus. Observe its overall shape, its lofty peak high in the sky, the large base rooted in the rock of the earth's crust, its steep or gently sloping sides. Notice how massive it is, how solid, how unmoving, how beautiful, both from afar and up close. Perhaps your mountain has snow at the top and trees on the lower slopes. Perhaps it has one prominent peak, perhaps a series of peaks, or a high plateau. Whatever its shape or appearance, just sit and breathe with the image of this mountain. Observe it. Notice its quality. And when you feel ready, see if you can bring the mountain into your own body so that the body sitting here and the mountain in your mind's eye become one. So that as you sit here, you share in the massiveness and the stillness and the majesty of the mountain. You become the mountain rooted in the sitting posture. Your head becomes the lofty peak, supported by the rest of your body. Your legs, your body, the solid base rooted to your chair. Your shoulders and arms, the sides of the mountain. With each breath, as you continue sitting, become a little more a breathing mountain, unwavering in your stillness, completely what you are, beyond words and thought, a centered, rooted, unmoving presence. Now, as you sit here, become aware of the fact that as the sun travels across the sky, the light and shadows and colors are changing virtually moment by moment. Night follows day, and day follows night. a canopy of stars, the moon, then the sun. Through it all, the mountain just sits, experiencing a change in each moment, constantly changing, yet always just being itself. It remains still as the seasons flow into one another and as the weather changes, moment by moment and day by day, calmness abiding all change. In summer, there's no snow on the mountain, except perhaps for the very peaks. In fall, the mountain may wear a coat of brilliant fire colors. In winter, a blanket of snow and ice. In any season, it may find itself at times enshrouded in clouds or fog or pelted by freezing rain. People may come to see the mountain and comment on how beautiful it is, or how it's not a good day to see the mountain. But none of this matters to the mountain, which remains at all times its essential self. Clouds may come and clouds may go. The mountain's magnificence and beauty are not changed one bit by the way people see it, or not, or by the weather. Seen or unseen, in sun or clouds, day or night, it just sits being itself. At times visited by violent storms, buffeted by snow and rain and winds of unthinkable magnitude. Through it all, the mountain continues to sit, unmoved by the weather, by what happens on the surface, by the world of appearances. In the same way, as we sit in meditation, we can learn to experience the mountain and embody the same unwavering stillness and rootedness in the face of everything that changes in our own lives over seconds, over hours, over years. In our lives, we constantly experience the changing nature of mind and body and of the outer world. We can have our own periods of light and darkness, our moments of color and our moments of drabness. Certainly, we experience storms of varying intensity and violence in the outer world and in our own minds and bodies. We endure periods of darkness and pain, as well as moments of joy. And when you're ready, please open your eyes and join me in welcoming our guest speaker. Born and raised in Apex Hill, Nunavut, Nauluq LeDrew is Inuit and was brought up with 8 siblings and many cousins. During her formative years in Apex Hill, Nauluq learned from her family how to live traditionally, developing a deep respect for the land and all that it provides that is grounded in Inuit knowledge and understandings. Nauluq has supported the urban Inuit community in Toronto for many years and has been elected to be an Inuit community knowledge keeper. As part of her responsibilities in the Inuit community, Nauluq has provided ceremonial openings for organizations and has served lightning kulik, oil lamp, for Ontario's ministers. Her favorite pastime is sewing sealskin and creating art and crafts that celebrate her Inuit heritage. I invite Nauluq to share her message with us today.
Udlasakut, Hujanami, Haitawamantavunga, Hujalivunga, Ilichni, Inutito, Hadamakai Naknayama, Atatakuka, Ananakuka, Ilinyat, Simadivanit, Inu Ilakusinganit. Good mid-morning, Udlasakut. My name is Nauluq LeDrew. My parents named me Nauluq after my grandfather's late uncle. When one passes, it is our duty to keep their name going. And that's how my name came upon. But when government started doing census up north, I was branded with a number. And my number is E71866. And it had to do with medical reasons. It needed to be recorded, our medical history. We did not have surnames back then. Inuit started having surnames in 1967. So my surname became Michael. My father, his name's Mike. They tried giving him a different name, but he refused. So they compromised in Michael. So his younger siblings and him became Michael family. And Michael family is one of the well-known family up north due to my uncles. We are artists, politicians. We help the whole community as good as possible that we can. I'm very happy to be here with you and tell you about Inuit culture. I brought with me 2 drums. This drum is made out of deer hide, sinew, wood, and antler. And my husband, he's Caucasian, and I taught him how to make drums. I taught him how to carve soapstones. and he has helped me tremendously to support Inuit culture. So after he had made this drum, I decided to do an art. The top, okay, at first, my culture did not have God like missionaries did. We had shamanism. And shamanism is like medicine man. And how I know about shamans is because one of my uncles from my mother's side was a shaman himself. And he helped the community. Well, there's a bad and good shaman. A bad shaman would be the one who would be greedy and try and have power over all the people in the community, in the camp. But the good shaman, he would heal sick people. He would lead them to good food and represent a good human being from within himself. And shaman, as I know, did astral traveling. They meditate themselves into out-of-body experience to look for food, to feed to feed the camp people who lives in the camp. And one of our great helpers was also a raven. A raven would notify us where there would be food, like caribou migrating. How Inuit became up north is from migrating from Siberia, following the caribou herd. The caribou herd has a calving ground up north, and it takes them months to travel. So Inuit decided to occupy the north. And Nauluq LeDrew, as you know her, it's a sea goddess, or Sedna. She controlled our water mammals. And how Nauluq LeDrew came upon is she's in the camp, and she was more interested in a dog, taking care of a dog, instead of helping around the camp. So the father convinced her that they're going out for a boat ride. What he was actually the father had tried to get her to marry a young man who will provide for her. But she was not interested in a young man. And she kept refusing her father. The father told her, I cannot feed you and the whole community. So we're going for a boat ride. And once they came upon an island, and the father tricked her. Oh, I need heathers. I need Arctic cotton. Can you go pick those up so we can build a fire? And she went out, and she noticed that the father is actually moving away from the shore. So she knew what was happening. So when she came upon the canoe, she held on to try and get back in. To try and get back into the canoe. And what the father did was chop her hands off so she can't hold on anymore. No fingers. Her fingers started she was so angry, hurt, and she started cursing her father. Her fingers started going beneath to the sea floor, but before they reached down, they became the sea mammals. Walrus, beluga, narwhal, orcas, fish, seal, and she controlled these sea mammals. And there are many camps of Inuit camps. And she had ordered her sea mammals not to go to her father's camp. So her father and his family did not have anything to eat from the water. And when you're going hunting caribou, it takes weeks to reach a caribou. And by the time you come upon one, you're too weak to hunt them. So the shaman from her father's camp pled with LeDrew to release the mammals so the people can eat. And then she asked for something in return. A mauti. A mauti is a baby carrier that Inuit women used. You probably have seen them. But her was specially made of different animals, and bigger the pouch. Like that man who was telling you a story earlier about not going near the water. Once a child goes near the water on the sea ice or open water, when she's alone and she falls in, the water is so cold that you can't move. You're in shock. Your body is in shock. And the clothing that you are wearing, okay, we wore caribou pelts, seal fur. This clothing that we wear, when they get wet, they get very heavy. So that's what drags you down to the water. And once Nuliakjuk finds a child in the water, she scoops her up, puts her back into her amautik, and brings her down to her cave on the seabed. And that's when the child becomes her slave. Well, that's the story of Nuliakjuk and the shaman. Shaman, that's how I was brought up. We did not have religion. We had ourselves. We know that we have spirit in us, and we know that something greater than our own being out there. And resiliency is one of the things that you'll find in meeting with an Inuk. When I first meet people and they ask me where I'm originally from, and I say I'm up north, and their first thought is cold. All you see is white. And that's your visual thing about the north. What I see is my playground, where we go sliding with sealskin pelt. We built our shelters. We did back then. Now we only built them for overnight when we're going out camping, hunting. Throat singing and drum dancing was taken away from us. My mother taught me how to throat sing when I was a young child, and she told me, do not do this in public. You do this only at home. And it was forbidden because fear. The white society feared of the unknown. Like throat singing that you have never heard before, cause them to fear it. And drumming. Well, I made this drum only for, I don't use this drum for my shows. This is the material. It's a drum I make. It's a drum I use. I was a performer once upon a time, but I decided, okay, that's enough for me. And throat singing. Oh, yeah. Throat singing, like I was saying, it was feared. There are two women lip locked. Nowadays, two women are just standing side by side. But way back then, they were lip locked. And they were, they sing from diaphragm from your, to make, oh, excuse me. One woman would have a low vocal. The other one would have a higher pitch. So those two together would start throat singing. And they would also mimic what they hear from the land. Animals, different kind of animals. The river, whatever you hear up north. Nook, 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 nook. And it is also a call for our migrating birds, like Canadian geese. Nook, 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 nook. And imitating wars. These kinds of sounds. I'm going to leave you with that. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Very rich. It's time for our offertory. Sharing of ourselves is part of every faith, and volunteer efforts are essential, but salaries are paid and programs created by your contributions. Baskets will be passed. I can ask the greeters to get the baskets, please. Thank you. There are many ways to make contributions through offerings in the basket, predated checks, e-transfers, automatic withdrawals. If you're online, please use the link displayed on the screen, which leads you to our donations page on our website. In all ways, I ask you to be generous. And please bring the baskets back to the front once you've had a chance to circulate them. Thank you. Oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. I've got an earworm. Thank you. Thanks. If you have found love and acceptance here, if you have found home here, if you have known kindred spirits here, let this offering be a token of gratitude for our common life as we build the common good. We have a closing song now.
This is an Anishinaabe song. It's called the Traveling Song. The elder is Alex Keed, Lake of the Wood drum. And the whole song is, we-hey-ah, hey-ah, hey-oh. We-hey-ah, hey-ah, hey-oh. We-hey-ah, hey-ah, hey-oh. We-hey-ah, hey-ah, hey-oh. Oh, we-hey-ah. Oh, we-hey-ah. Hey-ah, hey-oh. Hey-ah, hey-oh. So the journey that good human beings take, the longest journey you will ever walk, is from your head to your heart. This song is sung at the end of different ceremonies. I conducted the full moon ceremony here, so most of those women know this song. And it's to send us on our way or on our journey. And sometimes we take those journeys within. And sometimes those journeys within can be challenging, whatever they are for us. So we can sing this song for that, the song sung at funerals or for safe guidance away. And so folks who do want to take a lead, rather than interrupt, just put up your hand, and then that way I know that you want to take a lead so you can join in, okay? Hey, Nikanagana for all my relations.
At this point, we'll extinguish our chalice. Yes, please. After, if you want. Go ahead, thank you. Although our chalice has been darkened, we hold the fire within our own hearts. Today I will leave you with a short reading, again by Robin Wall Kimmerer from Braiding Sweetgrass, and who tells us that even a wounded world is feeding us. Even a wounded world holds us, giving us moments of wonder and joy. I choose joy over despair, not because I have my head in the sand, but because joy is what the earth gives me daily, and I must return the gift. May you experience joy as being part of this earth, and may you find ways to return the gift. For those of you who do not wish to join a breakout room, thank you for joining us. Everyone who remains will be asked to join a breakout room. And today's question again to consider is, what have you lost and what are you trying to get back? If you're new to neighborhood and want to stay in the main meeting, just say later to the request. And we will end our service by going to gallery view and unmuting ourselves. Together, let us say namaste, which means I salute the spirit within you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.